Good morning, everybody. It is Monday. Peppa, you always try to hog the limelight. Off you go. There you go. Nice try. Okay, well, anyways, on we go with this. I hope you had a great weekend. Today we're going to review solving quadratics a little bit. Some of you had a hard time with that quiz, and it was more little things than big, just missing negatives and stuff like that. You just need to be more careful. Slow down. That's the only assignment that you have on Fridays. And make sure you show your work. Okay, that will usually help you do a better job. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is, I noticed that sometimes when you looked at directions, you didn't follow directions in a quiz. If it says solve by factoring, factoring means that we're going to put two parentheses down, equals 0. Last one's a negative, so plus and minus. 4 times 9 is 36, and 9 minus 4 is 5, and so I'm going to put an x here, an x here, and I want the 4 to be negative and the 9 to be positive because it's a positive up here. And so my two answers, what makes this 0 is negative 9, and what makes this 0 is 4. And all that means that what we're doing when we do this is, well, first of all, a negative 9 plus 9 is 0, and 0 times anything is 0. Remember, that's a times in there. And when you put your 4 in, it would be something times 4 minus 4 is 0, so something times 0 is 0. So either way, you end up with 0. Now, on all these, what we're doing is we're just finding in our parabola where it crosses the x-axis. That's what these are. They're called zeros. And they're called zeros because the y value is 0 where the parabola crosses. Now, not all parabolas cross, but for ours in here, most parabolas are going to cross at 2 places, and so we'll get 2 answers. Sometimes you get 1, sometimes you get none. Don't worry about that for right now. Okay, we're going to do another one by factoring. This one's a little bit harder. I'm going to do 1 times 2 and 3 times 1. I'm going to put my parentheses in. Last term's negative, so it's got to be plus and a minus. All right, so I notice that 2 times 3 is 6, and 1 times 1 is 1, and that'll give me 5 when I subtract them. And so I'm going to do 2x, match it all the way down here with the 3, come back with the 1x right here, and match it back with the 1. Okay, so when I check this real quick, it gives me a negative 5 in the middle. I don't want that, so I'm going to change this to a plus sign, and this to a minus. You always got to check. Now again, this has got to be equal to 0. Now this one's pretty simple. Right in here would go a negative 3. This one's not so simple, 2x minus 1. So if you can't figure it out by looking at it, then say to yourself, 2x minus 1 equals 0. Add 1 to both sides. 2x equals 1. Divide by 2, and there it is. It's 1/2. So you just do a little bubble equation and make whatever side the parentheses equal to 0, because that's what we want. We want it to come out equal to 0. All right, so that's factoring. You guys did okay with that. Number 3, 4x squared plus 1 equals 65. Now these you did great on, except you forgot your plus and minus. And I didn't take points off on the quiz on that, but on Friday, when we have those on there, I will take it off if you don't put your plus and your minus, because there's 2 answers. Okay, so to do this one quickly, we'd subtract 1 from both sides. We get 4x squared equals 64. Divide by 4, we get x squared equals 16. Take the square root of both sides, and we get x equals plus or minus 4, and we're done. But overall, I was pretty happy with that. Now, completing the square, there's little things you're missing as you're going through. Now, the first thing on this one is I notice it's got a 2 in front of the x squared, and I do not want that. And so I know I'm going to divide by 2 on both sides. The other thing I notice is I got a minus 12 here. I don't want a minus 12 there. I want that blank. And so I'm going to add 12 to both sides right now to get that moved. All right, so let's go ahead and take and divide by 2. So 2x squared divided by 2 is x squared plus 8x. This got moved over there, so that would be plus my blank, which is what I want there, equals, and 12 divided by 2 is 6. Make sure you put your 2 on both sides so you don't forget to do that. Okay, so next thing I want to do is take half of 8, which is 4, and square it, which is 16. So I'm going to put a 16 here. I want to put a 16 over here. Don't forget to do that. This step you guys did awesome on. This next step you had a little bit of trouble. Remember that this number is always half of that one, because the 4 times 4 is going to give you the 16. And that's where I saw some of you run into trouble there. All right, so now we're going to take the square root of both sides. Square root knocks out the square and leaves me with x plus 4 equals plus or minus the square root of 22. That's where you guys left off a little bit too. Put your plus and minus in. So now I'm going to subtract 4 from both sides, and what I end up with, x equals negative 4 plus or minus the square root of 22. And you guys, that's good. That's your answer. I'm fine with that. It'll actually give you 2 answers, but you don't have to work them out. You may leave it just like that. Now there's other times you might get something like this. You might get x plus 4 equals the square root of 9. Well, the square root of 9 is plus or minus 3. So on that, you need to subtract 4 from both sides and give me what x is. So a positive 3 take away 4 is negative 1. The negative 3 take away 4 is negative 7. And so there's your 2 answers. So if it comes out to a whole number, please go all the way to the answer. If it doesn't, comes out weird, you may leave it like that. All right, so I hope that helps you. Your assignment today is page 664, 41 through 57, just the odds. Problem, steps, and answer. And please check your answers from the back of the book. All the answers are there. Please look them up to make sure you're doing them right. And you can text or call me if you have questions. I'm glad to help you out. All right, hope you have a great Monday. Peppa Pig, hope you do too.